Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A show on Inside the Birds platform, YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in another week. Our birds go out and handle business, howbeit ugly at the end, 28-23 against the Jags. One of your favorite hosts, Jason Avant. I'm here with my main man, Q. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Man, first of all, can y'all zoom in on that? Man, look at that. Ooh, I got the old school, you got the new old school.
Yeah.
That Kelly Green look great. Glad to
It
be
did
back.
look it looked nice the other night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, but glad to be back, man. Appreciate all you guys supporting us and yeah, let's get it.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. We want to say thank you to Adam, Jeff, everyone at Inside the Birds for making this possible, and for you for sending your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, check out Inside the Birds, Instagram, Twitter. Check us out. We'll be giving you fresh fire each and every week. Let's get right into this one. The Eagles win 28-23 against the Jags. They were in control of the game most of the game. Some dynamic playmakers making plays at times. Then the fourth quarter happened. We got a bad call, quote unquote, rule wise. They were correct. And that kind of changed the complexion of the game. There are some takeaways with it, but let's start with the first topic, Q. And the topic that everyone is talking about ever since yesterday, radio last night, TV last night, Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, Nick Sirianni. They didn't talk about Saquon jumping over a dude. First of all, he shakes off of him, makes him do a wedding proposal, and then jumps over a dude backwards. They didn't talk about that. They talked about Nick Sirianni
Yeah, man.
as the number one topic. We talked about the
It's
other
crazy.
things. We had a Jahan Dotson sighting,
Oh
one hand
yeah.
Smitty catch, but the number one topic is Nick Sirianni. So let's get into it. Nick Sirianni is getting crushed by fans today for his decision making. Two failed fourth downs, two failed 2-point conversions from the one, a missed Jake Elliott field goal, 57 yards, being cold all game pretty much since the
Yeah.
first quarter.
I
All
know
right.
he gotta feel terrible.
Do you have any issues with any of the fourth down decisions? Why or not? Why not?
Well, yeah, so I do have an issue with it. According to pro football reference.com though, the Eagles are 11 of 17, so 64% on fourth down. So the nerds, here come the nerds again with the stats and all that stuff, right? So, statistically by the numbers, the Eagles are not they're not 100% wrong by going for it on fourth down and in some of those situations. But sometimes you just gotta throw that out the window. I don't have a problem. I guess I don't have a problem with them going for it. I have a problem with the play selection. Essentially, two or three of those, essentially all of them were the same play. It was either if it was on the goal line, the 2-point conversions, or the tush push, which seems like everyone seemed to catch up to, and then
Sorry.
all of what's that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then the other ones were, that little swap boot play. Now they ran it out of different formations. They ran it out of the tight end trips one time, and then they ran it out of I believe it was like a 2-by-2, but essentially it's the same play that I believe it was the Falcons game when they went for it and missed it, right? It was a fake
Right.
handoff,
Mm-hmm.
sprint out, guy in the flat. So it's essentially the same play, just kind of window dressed to look different. So that's what I have an issue with. Pretty much everyone in the stadium knows if it's a goal line situation or really like a fourth and one or short, they're going to go touch push or some version of it. And then if it's anywhere in midfield or, sometimes in the goal line, it's going to be that swap boot play. So I just think they just need a better variety and don't overthink it sometimes. Like, I know it's easy to say when they're running the tush push, but when I say don't overthink it, you got Saquon Barkley, the best running back, the most dynamic running back. I mean, he literally could have you could have handed it off to him. He'd have just did a backflip over, over for 1 yard. You know what I'm saying? So, I just to me, it's more the play selection that I disagree with. What about you?
In this regard, I think the first fourth down, I believe that they went for. So they had the turnover. Great job
Yeah.
by Sidney Brown, and then Kelly Ringo getting that out, and then that was the Saquon Barkley touchdown, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
And then after that, they stopped them. Then they got a Jake Elliott field goal, which made it like 10-0. And then their next possession, they were going down to go up, and they got inside the red zone and or right at the precipice of the red zone, somewhere around the 20, 30, something like that. It was right there, big red zone area. And they end up with like a fourth and three. That 4th and 3 was a great play design. Great play design. Going forward there, and you have that play design, I'm not mad. After watching the film, I'm not mad. Jalen Jalen was the one on that play. It was two things. So basically they were running a choice route with Devontae Smith. He had like one of those delayed releases, and he's one-on-one with the guy that's waiting there like at 4 or 5 yards, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't work him. He worked him enough to win, though. He just went up and stuck it. But if you go up and stick it and the quarterback knows this is my man, I'm trusting him, I'm going to let it go. I'm not thinking about going through the progression because it's man to man. He's my number one read, and I got to depend on him to get open in this situation. It's inside leverage. He didn't stick him great, but Jalen didn't even give him a legitimate chance. So he could have banged Devontae with the ball in the flat right now at the top of his break and not even thought twice about it and let it fall. It would have been just like it would have been a bang bang play like the Jesse Bates play that he broke up in Atlanta where he was running the out cut and he was
Yeah.
able to get to it. It would have been the same exact thing.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
You get what I mean?
Yep.
So that ball has to come out. Okay, you don't give it to Devontae. Now he comes off of a Devontae before Devontae even makes his break. So he declared Devontae a loser before he even gave him a move, and it was man to man. That was one mistake. Second mistake, he goes across the field to AJ Brown. AJ Brown is his second read. Instead of just planting and throwing it, he shuffles back a couple and resets for no reason. It was pressure, but it was like a good 2 yards away from him. The guys are readjusting up front. You block somebody, he does a move, you got to slide step and readjust your hands. That's what's happening. They're still in front of him, but he felt that and shuffles again. Now the ball's late. That was a great play call. That was Jalen. So that fourth down, I'm okay with that fourth down because that play call was actually a great play call, and they should have been on the field if they would execute the play right.
Mm.
So that one,
Okay.
I'm good. The one field goal that you took off the board, I'm not a fan of taking points off the board in order to, for what? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that, okay, now we score a touchdown, and because they made a mistake jumping off sides, we think we can tush push it in. Let me tell you why I don't love it. It's because I'm in the meetings. Like, I was a coach for the Eagles when Jalen Hurts was there, when Doug was there, when Stout was there. They did the stats on the tush push. It's not called that. I want to give their name away because I know they still got the same name. But Doug and Stout came up with the way to devise that. So the dude that helped create that and the success that it had, Kelsey, Stout, and Doug Peterson, They were the ones that created it. So you don't think that he's going to be the one
Yeah.
that can possibly stop it? So in that situation, understanding who it is, understanding the scenario, they have a higher probability of it. So I'm not liking that. I'm not thinking that, okay, I'm just going to do this against this guy. And they were prepared for it. On the first one, they even had a guy to jump up so Jalen couldn't use his second effort. He was pulling them back from the top.
That's crazy.
And he was designated for it.
That's
So
crazy.
after that play, I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna be a little leery of the tush push. If I go look at the iPads on the sideline, I'll be leery of that.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest of the things, the Jake Elliott decision, 57 yards, giving them a short field. I don't agree with that. I just think you put your defense in a bad situation. If it wasn't for a great Quintin Mikell jam and a 3-by-1, which we've been calling for the entire time. It was a 3-by-1 set in a bunch. Quintin Mikell jammed the beans out of the second guy, which gave Nakobe Dean clear vision on the wheel route, and he made a play. If it wasn't for that, we lose the game. So yeah, I would say that 1 4th down, the first 4th down and 3 was the only one that I agree with. The rest of them, just do the conventional things sometimes. Forget the stats. The stats are okay. We had Jason Kelsey, we had Leonard Dickerson, we had Mailata, we had multiple Pro Bowlers on the line, Lane, whoever. It's not the same line. We got people hurt. We're not getting the same success. At one point, it wasn't a 64%. At one point, it was 85, 90%. That's way different. 60% and 90%, totally different team. So stop acting like this is 2022. It isn't. Understand your personnel this year and do what's best for them this year. Adapt. Stop living in yesteryear. That was my problem. Sorry, that was long-winded, but yeah.
No, I like it. That was good.
All right, next question for you, Q. Do you have any concerns that Sirianni will hurt this team in big game or playoff?
I do. Especially, as you just broke everything down. He seems to not be able to kind of get out of his own way. And whether that's, doing some silly stuff on the sidelines, which I do, trust me, I do appreciate. I do love him being himself, but there's a there's a time and a place for some of the antics. There's a time and a place to be aggressive. There's a time and a place to go for it, 4th down, to go for it, go for a 2-point conversion. And so I am a little bit worried because like we talked about earlier in the season, you got a guy that's basically been stripped of kind of all his ways to affect the game. So the only ways that he can have a say or have an effect on the game is situations like going forward on 4th and 1, situations like going for 2. So can we trust him to make the correct decision is what I'm worried about right now. And he's in a spot, and I think he's in a spot where he's got this kind of riverboat gambler mentality type of deal right now. And like you said, sometimes just play the game, let the game play out by the way it's supposed to play out. Play strong defense, which you're going to need down the stretch. So I am a little bit worried about it, and I hope that he can correct this pretty quickly.
Mm.
What
All
do
right,
you
my
think?
take on it is this. He's speeding in the school zone.
Mm.
He's aggressive, but it's not the time. It's not the place. Yeah, you got a dodge, you got a dodge, you got a Hellcat. You can go fast. You can beat the police. You on the Kawasaki. You can do it. You're in the school zone
Like
in
that.
this situation in the game. And this part of the game, we're handily kicking their butt on defense. When I say kicking their butt, we're talking about 31 yards of offense in the first half kicking their butt. We're talking about three and outs. We're talking about a four plays and out. We're talking about 6 plays and out. We're talking about 2 1 plays and out. We're destroying this team defensively. Don't give them momentum. It's not the time. You're superior to this team if you give your defense a chance to stop them for 80 or 70 yards. You know what I mean? So I'm not putting my guys in that situation. And guess what happens? One bad call puts you right in position to be beat. So I think that he can possibly hurt us if he doesn't understand the scenario, when it's time to bring the energy on the sideline and stuff. You got to pick and choose. This is not you can't be the same thing everywhere. You just can't. We all have that as hats. I'm me and you're my teammate. We discussing ball here. I'm not the same person when I got to go into a parent-teacher conference. I'm not the same person when I step on a football field. Whatever it may be, you got to adjust and adapt, Coach Sirianni. In your situations right now, I want to believe and trust that you can handle these things in the perfect situation. And right now, it's seeming like this is more of a video game, more of an ego thing and not a team thing. And that right there has me questioning it. Do I think he's a good coach? You can't deny that he's a good coach because of the record. He has his team prepared most of the time. And have they been fortunate? Yeah, they've been fortunate. But again, a lot of dynamic players, and he's done a good job of getting his guys ready to play for the most part, because he has over 40 wins in these last couple of years. And 15 or 16 losses is pretty good in comparison to everybody else. The second best coach that came out with him is Dan Campbell. His records just starting to get there because of the last 2 years. Yeah,
it's true. I didn't even realize that he's had that many wins. I mean,
yeah, he's already he's like 40. He's like 40 and 15, 41 and 15, something like that. It's close to that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's probably because, like, even when they do win, sometimes it just feels like they didn't.
Well, exactly, because the team, we're past the point of, with the fan base, we're past the point of being satisfied with going to the playoffs. We're past the point of just getting there and being good. We want to win the Super Bowl, and the fans know what it takes to win the Super Bowl. So the standard is the Super Bowl. The standard is not just winning. So if things will cloud the ultimate goal of the Super Bowl, and things that the coach is doing can hurt that or hinder that, the fans can recognize it, because the fans have been there too.
Yeah.
That's the gist. So the pressure is there. The stakes are higher, and the fans are justified in it. And I always say this, because as a former player, as a coach, whatever, sometimes the players and the current coaches take it as the fans are they're too much, or I love this. And man, the fans do too, man. They do too.
Yeah.
Nobody want to pay $50 for parking. Nobody want to drive from Harrisburg. All the fans that came to see LaShawn McCoy, 2.5 hours in traffic, hour and a half normal drive, another hour when you get close to the stadium to get into the parking lot, just to pay for $70 for you and somebody else for some chicken fingers and some fries. Like, they invested too.
Yeah.
So respect that as well, and think of that. So when they have gripes, man, very rarely are the fans completely wrong. They're not completely. They may be off basis because they don't know the inner workings of the plays, but their assessment is not completely off. So if you take it personal, that's on you.
Yeah. Preach soon.
Q, let's get into the Eagles offense. The first question is going to be for you. Describe what it's like watching Saquon Barkley catch wheel route touchdowns and backward hurtling defenders. Also, what was that really? Was that really a fumble?
Oh yeah. So
Was that really a fumble? I'm bad reading it.
First of all, I've never seen a player quite like him, like Saquon. All day today, all day coaching, coaching high school. That's all we could talk about was that hurdle. We were on the field with the coaches. We were talking about that for like 20 minutes. Never seen anything like that. How did he know? I mean, it's just phenomenal. And so I love it. I still, and I to the for the life of me, I still can't understand what the Giants were thinking by letting him go because this dude is unreal. They're smoking that good stuff. For real. For real, man. He's so good to watch. He's smart. He's a good human being. He's a strong player. He runs with speed and quickness and power. He catches the ball. He does everything just so well. And he's still in his prime. It's just amazing. And then as far as the fumble, I think by law, I think technically it was hard. I watched the all 22, and from the angle that I could see, it looked like he looks like he almost got tripped up, but I think it was a fumble. I think it was a fumble. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it quite as good on the all 22, but unfortunately, I think that was a fumble.
Yeah. My thought on it, on the Saquon thing, man, just thank God for the Giants and their stupidity. I just think here's the thing. It's hard enough picking a player.
Yeah.
Whether they first round, second round, it's hard enough getting that pick right. If you go back over the last 5, 6 drafts, 10 drafts, whatever it is, you start to realize that, man, only 4 or 5 of them players in the first round kind of panned out
Yeah.
each year. 4 or 5, maybe. And I'm being generous.
Hmm.
So to pick one right at the running back position is slim pickings,
Yeah.
right? So you
Hmm.
got the pick right. He gets to your building. He's an A+ person. He does everything right. He works hard. He's carried your team. He's shown that he can, deliver special talent, and you don't reward that. You reward a dude that has shown you for 5 or 6 games that he can complete a few passes. Y'all get on a little lucky streak and get to the playoffs one time and just disregard the entire red flags that's smacking you in the face like this
Yep.
the entire time. And you pay that dude that was losing in college and is losing in the pros. You deserve it. You deserve it. Like it's yeah, you deserve it. You a dude that's just doing the wrong stuff at the wrong time, and you deserve it. So shout out to Saquon for understanding his value. And here's the thing: we played with some good teams, but guess what? When you're a player with Saquon's ability, more oftentimes than not, guess what you are? A jerk. Dudes with Saquon ability, they are jerks because they are ultra talented. They are uber talented. So when you come across one that's a team player that represents your organization, you treat them right. You don't do what you did. So hell with the Giants. Thank you so very much. What impact is going under center making on the Eagles offense? Going under center, what impact is it making on the offense?
I, I love when they go in the center, and I've said this in the past. I think as a defender, a back seven guy, linebacker, or a defensive back, safety position, that's kind of like a duel. Like you have to be able to play the run, you have to be able to play the pass. It makes everything much more difficult because um, you need to read your keys. You need to understand where you're supposed to be in your drops. You need to understand if you're in man coverage, what can happen if it's play action. So I think what that does is it kind of equalizes the game when the quarterback's under center. If they're in shotgun, unless it's a pistol, and even in pistol, when um, the quarterback, there's still an element of time that you can get a little bit of extra half a second or whatever to get your reads off. So I think going under center, what it does is it makes the defense have to read everything post snap. You can do a lot more play action. You can do a lot more, with the run game. The offensive line's firing off the ball. They're getting into their blocks quicker. And when you have a back like Saquon, I mean, did you see a couple of times when he was under center, he was hitting the hole in the linebackers before before they could even react. I mean, talk about this dude is, 5'10", 226,
Mhm.
strong as an ox coming down full speed. Not a lot of people, not a lot of linebackers want to come down and tackle that. So
Yeah,
I think that's what it does. It puts a lot more pressure on the defense to be 100% correct every time.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I got nothing to say with. Well, I do have something to say with it. But go ahead and ask the next question, and I'll put it in that one.
Okay. So, so here's your question. How did you feel Jalen played? And what impact did his design runs and scrambles have on the offense?
I love when Jalen uses his leg. He's looking more athletic. He's looking revived and refreshed when he's running the ball. That definitely does it changes the game, for the Eagles when he has 13 for 67, right? When he's at 5 yards, he scores a touchdown and does all of those things. That definitely advantage Eagles. It keeps people honest on the backside. It gives Saquon an extra a little bit extra space. So that's always good. And especially on third downs, it sustains drive. So you want that. As far as Jalen Hurts' play and even under center, he has to get acclimated to it because when he is under center, like the first play of the game, for an example, the first play in the game that's not a West Coast play. It's a play that came from Schottenheimer. It's a number system play. And that number system that Shanahan tree, Marty Schottenheimer, that's like the same tree. That basically what it is it's a short eight, which is a post, a bang post, and then there's a big post on the backside. So it's like 88 Y flat. So they would call it in like short 88 because the short 88 goes to the strong side. And then 8 is a normal post. And then Y flat is the Y goes to flat. Very simple play call. It's off of play action. So it's like a fake 67, 8, short 88 Y flat. So you fake it, and that draws the defenders up. AJ Brown was wide open on the post, short post, but he was under center. So Jalen gets his break, but he drops back like he does post game interviews, like slow and steady. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like the way Jalen is, just like disinterested, and it's like
Yeah.
not into urgency. It's just like, like he does that. That's the way that he plays it in shotgun. He has to have way more urgency when you're under center. I mean, not in shotgun, but under center. When you're in the center, you have to get the ball and like basically get back fast as you can because the timing of the play is different. When you're
Mhm.
back there, yeah, you can lollygag if you're in shotgun. You can like do a little hop and you still get the ball out. When you're under center, it's urgent. So
Mm.
AJ Brown runs a perfect route. There's a big chasm of a hole, but he waits till he gets backside to throw it and was super late because the tempo that he had was just like he's from Alabama. He walking into the coffee shop and you ask for order. They take 17 years to get your order right. You know what I mean? They want to
Yeah.
talk to the person there. He that's the way he played it. You know what I mean? So he has to get used to the timing of understanding. I said all that to say that. You got to get
Mhm.
used to the timing of understanding. I don't think he's ready for. I don't think he's good at that yet. And I talk about this at least once a year, that his urgency and tempo has to increase. There's a
Gotcha.
time to be chill and calm, but you want to get to your spot to make a decision and not moving into your spot. And now you have to do both at the same time, which causes you to be inaccurate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more thing to say about
Okay.
that. Um, Hold on, let me get my drink here in preparation of next week.
The Cowboy tears.
Much how the Giants were dumb enough to get rid of Saquon for nothing. I remember a bunch of people, friends that I have that are Cowboy fans, were just going off on Kellen. Yeah, we got his butt up out of there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, just you wait. I've played against Mike McCarthy's offense, and if let me tell you, if he didn't have Aaron Rodgers for all those years, he wouldn't have gotten another job. Okay, so so. You Dallas Cowboy fans, this one's to you because you guys got rid of a very, very intelligent, smart play caller, and we're reaping the benefits on that. And it's just the beginning. Like you said, there's a lot of growth to be had with Jalen in this offense, and I'm just loving the way it's going right now. I know there's a lot of stuff, like we said, there's some stuff that's got to get better, but thank you, Dallas. You guys were you guys helped us out again. Dallas,
Yeah.
the, the
These
Giants and the Cowboys. Thank you.
the Giants and the Cowboys. Thank you. Now we need a blessing from the Commanders, and we're into the B. Come on, Commanders, go ahead and give us something there. Now here we go. But no, I definitely think that he can play better. I thought here's the thing, his ball placement, because I got to add something to it. His ball placement has been great this entire year, like especially with deep ball placement. When he has his feet set and throwing the ball, it's been accurate most of the time. He makes some throws over the middle. He had some throws this week. Last week, great. The Saquon Barkley, the Devontae catch. He had AJ Brown on an in and back out route on the sideline that had to be perfectly placed.
Yeah.
He had some great balls, and he's not turning it over. He's playing winning football. We're talking about the critiques that we have. Let's keep it in context. We're talking about getting Jalen Hurts back into the top 7, top 5 quarterbacks. Right now, yeah, will he be in the top 10? That's plausible. Top 12, plausible. Right now, with the way he's playing, these little tweaks and being on time and going through your progression. I was there for LaShawn's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame. Just sitting there in the suite with him, and all of us were talking. Me, Fletch, Emmanuel, Brandon Marshall, Vinny Curry, bunch of guys in there. I could be forgetting people, and we're just in there sitting and talking about it. And everybody had different things to say, and Fletch made a point that kind of made sense to me. Is that he was like, dude, look at the offensive line. The offensive line is like 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". He's like, those dudes are tall. And sometimes as a defender, I can't see Jalen back there because of how tall those dudes are. So when we're in practice, I don't know where he is. And that kind of just made me register in my brain. Is it that he's not reading or he can't see properly? And if he can't see properly, you got to play with more anticipation and understand what the coverage is and throw the spots rather than seeing it first, sort of like Drew Brees. So hopefully, but that made sense to me when Fletch gave the analogy that or the visual that I couldn't see him. I can't see him all the time when we pass rush.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that means that he can't see either.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that. Because to me, I mean, everybody taller than me.
Yeah.
I thought he was like How tall is Jalen? He's like 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah, he one of them basketball 6'1", 6'2". He probably about 5'11". No, no. He about
Oh
6'2". But again,
man.
with 6'5", 6'6", and Fletcher's a big dude, he's saying it's hard for him to see. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
just made me think that, he didn't say it or anybody else didn't come up with it. It was me saying, okay, maybe it's not him reading things. It's more so him seeing because he can't see over those dudes. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I want to talk to you about my experience last week on the Patreon Axe and Eagle Inside the Birds deal we did. It was an awesome experience I had. Love the questions that everyone has, seeing you guys' face, putting a name with some of the questions that you asked periodically on our show. So thank you guys for tuning in and doing it. Let's continue to keep that going. Hopefully I answered your questions. It was hard for me to get through all of the questions because I'm long-winded, as you guys know. So there's so much like detail in every answer to answer it, the proper way. So thank you guys for bearing with me, but it was an awesome time that I had. And thank you to Adam and Jeff, and continue to sign up at patreon.com/inside the birds, patreon.com/inside the birds. We're going to have more and more people on that to get your questions answered. All right, Q, let's jump into the Eagles defense.
Okay. Yeah. So, Jay, can you tell me about what happened in the fourth quarter schematically, that made Jacksonville kind of start to move the ball a little bit better?
Here's my takeaway from the Jacksonville game. It's not Doug. The players suck.
Mm. Damn.
Like when I say that, there's multiple plays. The first half, second half, multiple plays where it was perfectly called plays. They just didn't execute. Like just didn't execute for some reason. Like there's dudes wide open. Like there's times Evan Ingram, as a coach, the only thing you can do is call a winning play. You can't make the play a winner without the player. But they called plays where the tight end was one-on-one in the right leverage position, and he still was losing.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about you having a Detroit route, which is in across the field and then back out. If you get covered one-on-one on that route, you not in not one-on-one. You can get bracketed and covered. Or if it's a robber and the cornerback is going to be outside because he has inside help. Okay. But if it's straight up man-to-man and Cooper DeJean can lock you down on it, man, that ain't the coach. That's you. I'm not saying that Cooper DeJean's a baller, but that's a hard route. You know how hard that route is to go full speed, 15 yards and come back out. I've never
Talking
been
about that
covered.
sail route.
Yeah,
The
I've
sail
never been
route. Yeah.
on that route. You know what I mean? Not in a one-on-one.
Yep.
Not where at least quarterback can have a good target, So Doug was dialing it up. Dudes was dropping it, slipping down. I was like, dude, they suck. Players. And no offense, I know they're pro players, but here, that was definitely offensive, and I say no offense. But
You've earned that. You could say that, man.
no,
Shit.
I know, I'm just saying. And so I thought it was more so that they started to hit on the routes that they were leaving on the field the first half. That's all it was. They started to hit on the things that they were messing up. The pass rush didn't get as home as frequently, a little bit, but the guys were open. And they were calling the right play. So that was it. And they got the benefit of having that good call. And then they got CJ Gardner-Johnson in one-on-one situations a few times.
Hmm.
down there on 2-point conversions, and for the life of me, I don't know how he keeps getting matched up on receivers, especially on the goal line. I don't understand that. There has to be some adjustment that they're not making, and they're isolating him. They're like, we're going at him,
Yeah.
especially in the red zone, the goal line. Uh, yeah, so that was it. They just started to hit on things that was there the whole time, and to me, it wasn't the coaching. It may have been coaching other games, but this game to me was players and their ability to, like for example, like why are you throwing a jump ball to a running back at the end of the game with a linebacker that is off 7 yards, 8 yards,
Yeah.
and that's backing up?
Yeah.
He didn't come up. He's backing up. And if you're gonna throw the ball to him, what kind of throw would that be? If a dude is on top
Back
and it's
shoulder.
on the goal line, it's a back shoulder throw. That's a player mistake. He wasn't in harm's way. The clock wasn't a problem. There was nothing.
Yeah.
He just did that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's not the coach. That's players. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just gonna hit on that too. To me, I think what I saw the first half, I think they were trying DeJean a lot, and I think the second half, like you said, they found the matchups that they like. I think the second half they attacked CJ and they attacked Reed, and
hmm
a couple plays linebackers kind of got out of position, got out of their lanes, and created some big plays. But if I'm game planning against this defense again, I'm gonna scheme up ways to get a one-on-one with Reed, and I'm gonna scheme up a way to get one-on-one with CJ because they are both playing with bad eyes right now for whatever reason. I mean, CJ has kind of always had bad eyes, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking teams thought that early on, new starter, they could, kind of pick on DeJean and take chances there. But he's shown that he can lock that.
He's showing it when he guarded that cell the Detroit that cell route. I was like, that was good D. That was good
Yeah,
D. Now the guy ran tail route, but it was still good D because he gave
yeah,
nothing to the inside. He just ran it like it was on paper. But
yeah,
it still was good D.
yeah. That's
You know
hard.
what I
That's a
mean?
hard
Which is
route.
that's a hard route. That's still good D under any circumstance. It's still good D.
Yeah.
The one flat. What the hell was that flat route? That was bad. That was the dog. That was that 4th and 1. That flat
Oh,
route.
yeah.
I was like, was that the play? Man, if y'all don't stop playing, like, what do y'all think this is? You think this is high school? That was Doug. That was a terrible freaking play call. I was like, the dude is impressed, and you gonna go to the flat? Like, man, you better be glad he ain't take that to the house. You better be glad that he didn't pick that and take it to the house. Like,
For real.
what are we doing out here? I was, I laughed at that play watching that again, and that
That's
was
it.
a play.
Doug had his Sirianni glasses on.
That play, sorry, that play right there was definitely Doug. That you just jogged my memory. That first 4th down that they had, that was terrible. That whole play call, they should kick him in the ass for that play call. That play call sucked. All right, I'll keep going. I love you, Doug. Though you my man, but that play call is bad, brother. All right, all
Oh,
right,
man.
all right, all right. Are the Eagles linebackers playing as well as it looks? Do you still have questions about Zach Bond / N'Kobe Dean?
No, they're playing good, man. Like I said, and I think I'm kind of gonna add Cooper in there because he's playing so much nickel, in first, second down situations that he's
Mhm.
kind of helped solidify that back, that linebacker crew. And so I think they both played really good last week. I mean, N'Kobe was responsible for two. He had the one pick, and then he was driving on the one that the receiver kind of tipped up, and we got the pick on that one. Bond's playing lights out. He's playing aggressive, playing downhill. And Kobe's playing downhill, striking people, getting off blocks. He had N'Kobe that had the one bad play where in the fourth quarter, second half, where he got out of his zone. He got out of his zone, and I think he went too far outside. Receiver got behind him, and I forget what the receiver was, and had a pretty big game. But outside of that, man, those two have been
Come
playing
on, that
lights out.
we're talking about that deep cross.
Yeah, it was a deep. Yeah, it was like a in like a. He kind of
And
threw it. It wasn't. Oh, it was like a deep in, but it
okay.
was full flow. And Bond went to the flat, and then N'Kobe went to the flat as well. And I think he should have went
Oh, and he came
straight
short.
back
Yeah,
instead
I
of
know.
so he got out of his lane. So that was really the only bad play I saw from him. But yeah, man, they're playing lights out.
Yeah. They had that similar. They had a similar play like that in the first half, and they missed it. He did the same thing on both of those plays. He buzzed flat too fast because there was a guy out in the flat, and he buzzed it like it was man rather
Yeah,
than sitting there and waiting until it was thrown and going rallying and tackling. I know what you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah.
So
As far as Bond, the like play made that game. I was trying to see if it was man on the first corner route. The dude broke up a corner route. I'm like, how did he early in that ball game? You saw that?
oh yeah.
He broke up a corner, like he broke up a corner route from the outside linebacker position. That's the nickel position. That means that he saw something and basically drifted that far back. Normally, you don't see a linebacker making plays in zone on the corner route. I don't know how he got back there, but I'm like, did he just make a play on the corner route? I thought that was amazing.
I
I
know.
know, I know this. If they would have thrown the flat route, they would have got 10 yards.
Yeah.
But he made a play on the corner route.
Hey
You
man, Fangio said, "I want you to be where they throw the ball at."
know, ball out. But I've never seen that play happen. He made a diving play on the corner route. So that was amazing. Him getting to the ball downhill. All you heard was Zach Bond, Zach Bond, Zach Bond for the first half of that game.
Yeah.
That's all you heard. Zach Bond, Zach Bond, Zach Bond, Zach Bond. I was like, dang, this dude is out here cooking. Oh, the open field tackle. They threw a flat to him. The same flat route that Saquon got and made those people miss was the same situation Zach Bond was in on Travis Etienne, and he put him to the ground. That
Hmm.
was an impressive tackle on the right sideline. Just a perfect tackle. N'Kobe Dean called game.
Yeah.
He won us the game. And his explanation cue after the game
What
made
he
it
said.
that much more perfect. What he said was, he said, I got beat with that combination multiple times in training camp. And then I was on red alert for it because Saquon just beat their outside linebacker with the same play earlier in the game. And he said, based on the scenario and the situation where we are in the field and based on the formation, I said, you know what? This is a good time for you to run that wheel route. And so I'm going to be prepared for it. And he called game. But him breaking it down, understanding I had this weakness, they could pick on me because of it. Saquon got it. It's a good chance that I get it. So, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, man.
breaking it down, that right there impressed me more than anything that happened yesterday, was hearing him talk about how that play became successful. And then he said, I work on my hands with my coach at the end of every practice, just him and I throwing the ball. And he's like, Joe P, thank you for all the passes you throw to me. That was one of those things. We got one. You know what I mean? So for
That's
him, hearing him
awesome.
say that, I was like, that was the chef's kiss right there. That
Absolutely.
was the salt-based salt. That was
The P starters
yeah,
also.
that was right there on it. He went
That's exactly what you want to hear your middle linebacker saying, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
He said,
That was amazing. That made my whole night. That right there.
said that little salt bay on it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, here's the last one. Do you
All right.
think that
Go
is this
ahead.
one you?
No, you're good.
Yeah. Do you think that Cooper DeJean got away away with hooking his arm on the receiver on that 4th down stop.
They're not calling that. At the line of scrimmage, you ran straight down the line of scrimmage. They ain't calling that. No, he didn't get away with anything. That was a terrible call. You can't help the coach out right there. I thought he had a better chance of getting called on for illegal contact on the 3rd down stop on the sail route that we're talking about.
Oh yeah,
because
that was close.
Technically he did touch him, but the guy basically he was in position. He was in good enough position with his feet that there was a collision that could have been started by anybody. So he was able to get away with it because of his feet was good, but technically he could have got called for illegal contact because it was beyond 5 yards. But that 4th down play down the line of scrimmage, they're not calling that on 4th down. Any type of hook, it's on the line of scrimmage. They're not grabbing that unless you are literally tugging jersey and just prohibiting process. You're in, progress down the field. You're not getting called for that at all.
I'm glad you said that because all I could see was a filthy offensive cheaters trying to pick the man, and he's just trying to do his job. And you got the receiver standing right outside of him, and he's trying to pick him. So they would have called, man. That ain't never gonna be called. I'm glad it wasn't called. Y'all cheaters, man. Always pick plays, man.
All of them are pick plays, but I thought it was a horrible call. I thought it was a horrible call.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. Look, birds win. Sirianni had a little bit of some mishaps, but check this out. He got a chance to get it better. Let's be positive going forward into this Dallas week. They got no quarterback. He said that the team sucks himself, and they are looking to give Cooper Rush a chance anyway. So let's go up and beat Dallas and sip on some Cowboy tears.
Yes, sir. I can't wait, man. It's one of my favorite. Oh, man, I'm going to have a big old gallon, like 2 gallons. I'm just drinking Cowboy tears. Yeah, man, great show. As always, man, I enjoy it. I always love learning so much from you. And can't wait till next week, man. We're going to be back here celebrating another win.
Make sure you guys tune in insidethebirds@gmail.com. Send your questions to. Thank you to Adam, Jeff, and everybody back in the studio. Peace.